with Christian Youth Ministries, which is CYM. And just to start with, I'm just going to kind of go back to when I was younger, when I was 16. I'm going to start with when I finished my GCSEs in high school in 2007. Now, to start with, okay, I wasn't a Christian back then, and I finished my GCSEs. They weren't the best of grades, but they were grades after all. So, after I got these grades, I decided to go into education, but my attitude to education was absolutely rotten. I didn't want to do it, but I had to do something. Kind of like my parents really wanted me to do it in the end. So I thought, okay, I'll go to college. So I signed up for college, but as I was about to start, I turned it down. I decided not to carry on with it anymore. So I thought, okay, you know, I ain't going to do college, okay, so what am I going to do? My parents said I had to still do something, so I thought, okay, maybe I'll try a different college course. I turned that down. And then I'd done another one. So after 3 college courses, I turned them all down in the end. So at this point, I was out of education for a whole year. Decided to go into work, but in the end, I never got any work either. So I'm a 16-year-old out of work and not in education. By this point, though, I was wondering, what am I going to do? So I kind of just really took my time just to do my own things, see how I wanted to go with things in life, and I did a lot of stuff, and it was a real big struggle at times. But I had a really, really close friend actually in high school by the name of Aaron. He was like a brother to me. And basically, okay, he started bringing me to church. Now, I grew up in a Catholic church, and it was a little bit hard at times, because to come to a Pentecostal church, it was much different at times. And let's just say, we can be a little bit crazy at times too. So. But that's a blessing, that's a good thing. And so it was a little bit different for me, and you know, I experienced this change, and this is how I came to find God. And throughout this year and while I was at educational work, I just kept trying to get closer to Him and closer. And it was a really big struggle at times as well, because I went through a lot of hard times and good times. But in the end of that, God changed my attitude. And eventually in that, I wanted to go back to education. I wanted to get a job. My whole life started to change. And eventually I started to, after about 6 months of being out of education, I went to CSV Media, where I took an entry to employment course, so I could start going back to education. Now after I finished this, I did start a college course, and I did music. I did that for a whole year, and even that was quite hard, because being a Christian, among like 30 other non-Christians, and sometimes they talk about things you don't really want to hear. A lot of times it's quite hard, and when they do things you don't really want to be around. It's a real struggle sometimes. And that's what I had a hard time with as well. So obviously coming to the end of this college course, I decided I wanted to make a change. I want to do something different. But what am I going to do? So I thought, okay, I'll try to do some sports this time, and I'll go into do a sports degree. But I found that 6 weeks before I was going to start this sports degree, things changed. I met a man at Coffee Link, which is down the Cop Dock, on a Monday, and he told me about a foundation course, which is at CYM. And I thought, okay, is this what God wanted me to do? So I had this decision 6 weeks before I was going to start college. So I thought, okay, I'll pray on this, and I kept praying on it. And 2 weeks before I was going to start college, I decided I'm not going to go with CYM. I turned them down. As soon as I did that though, I couldn't think straight. My mind, my heart, none of it was at peace. I was wondering, what is going on here? And I was thinking, if I go to college here, I don't think it's going to be right. I think this ain't going to be the right time for me to go to college. So I decided, okay, I'm going to have to do something about this. So I went back to CYM, and this was a week after it already started, thinking, I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to get onto it. I eventually got there, and I asked the man then, I said, you know, can I come to CYM? Can I join it now? He's like, yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have your gifts and your talents that you've got here and join CYM and have a year out with them. And I thought, brilliant, thank you for that. So I started it, and as soon as I made that decision, my heart, my mind was at peace. It was at rest. But even though it's a Christian organisation, I still had hard times as well. But I also had good times and amazing times. Because where we are in life now, we're always going to struggle with something. And so, but the problem was, even at this point, when I did struggle, I knew that God, before I took my next step, I knew He was there before I even took it. And I knew whatever I struggled with, He was going to be there with me, helping me. And so whatever struggles I've gone through, I'll come out better on the other end. And I know after this year with CYM, I still believe God's taking me towards sports. Maybe with young people in schools, I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out eventually. And I just thank God that He's there with me every step. Thank you for listening.